Okay. We don't even need to go again.
Bro, that was
we literally
I
don't.
think that was the crispier clap than last time.
Crispier clap than crispy clapper McClapperson.
Exactly. It's gonna keep on going.
Is that even possible?
It's just gonna keep on going. Who knows? There's gonna be so many reels and Instagram of just the opening line. It's just me
us
and clapping and talking about crispy claps.
That's totally fine with me. Hey, good morning.
Good
afternoon.
Good morning.
Good evening. We
Top of the morning.
hope that your drive, your editing session, your leisurely stroll down the side streets of Lancaster, New York, and maybe even Australia, if you're there.
We have also confirmed that people do work out to our podcast.
That's weird to me. I barely can listen to my own voice.
It's confirmed.
I can barely listen to my own voice.
I think Logan, one of Logan's friends, I'm blanking on his name, but he was like, bro, I'm literally listening to this while I'm working out. I'm like, okay.
Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
I don't
it's
know.
Confirmed.
Dude, I don't know how. I could never listen to myself. I can barely listen to myself when I edit this.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Didn't were you saying earlier that Katie listens to you?
Katie listens to this in her free time. And so hello, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
It's just weird.
You got anything to say to Katie?
Nice narwhals. I don't know.
Got him.
Didn't think I'd say that, did you?
Got him. Who knew?
Gavin.
Who knew?
Like, honestly, though, I need you to tell me, like, we're going to get deep real quick. We just talked about narwhals. But, like,
narwhals, bro.
Have you changed since high school? I'm
100%.
genuinely curious.
Yeah, 100%.
Tell me more.
100%. Like if we want to go fit, like, even just, like, the metaphor, like, super down, absolutely. Even to, like, the physical sense, absolutely. I mean, like, I feel like definitely a changed person, because I think it would be difficult to say that I would be lying if I said no. You know?
I mean, so it's like, do you hope that you change?
Yeah.
Or is it like, I peaked in high school, I never want to change from here?
Because I think if that's the mindset you have, then I think we should talk. Because I think regardless of where you were at in high school, you've experienced tenfold probably what you've experienced in high school. If that's maybe not in the same crazy limelight of peaking in high school, but it could be so much more. Because I feel like as soon as you leave high school, it's like you're entering into a completely different world.
Right.
Because if you go to college, then it's very similar. But then if you leave college, it's still like you're entering into these different phases. It's almost like a tree. Like, the tree looks a lot different than it did last year. Yeah. Even if it's very minuscule, like, change doesn't have to necessarily mean, like, super big things. Like, in high school, I dreamed in college I would make $10,000. Well, if you made $1,000, you're still $1,000 richer than you were in high school. So, like, change.
There's growth,
There's growth. But, like, if I want to, rather than deflecting it back to you, I would say, yeah, definitely. I've changed a lot. Physically, gotten a lot healthier. Mentally gotten a lot healthier. Still, I'm by no means peaked in any matter, because I'm still getting shaped and formed. And so there will be 10 years from now, or even a year from now, I'll probably be like, bro, that guy that sat here at this podcast and talked about it, completely different dude. Yeah. Or it could just be like, oh, this thing that I said there, not right, because I'm changed. Like, I'm growing. I'm being pruned and shaped and molded. But yeah, definitely different.
Yeah, I think a lot too in high school, it's like that is your world, right? Yeah. And from there, once you like are released from that, it's so weird that like that is not a priority at all. Like anything in high school, and it's like such a like cliche thing to say. It's like, oh, believe me, once you're out of high school, like things get way better or whatever. And while that is true, it's like, dang, like high school was literally your world. Yeah. And that was all you had. You had your friends, the people that you see most often. And then you're free. And it's like those people have to choose you, and you have to choose those people now. It's not like you're locked in a room for 8 hours with those people.
Exactly.
And I don't know. It's just, it's weird though, because it is like such a different place, and you take things like in some cases way less seriously than others, but in other ways you're like, oh my gosh, Andrew said that he hated me. Yeah. Like, he's so popular, what do I do now? Like, everyone's gonna think I'm the worst person. or whatever, you know, like dumb stuff like that. Or now that we're looking, we're like, oh, Andrew hates me. Okay. Like, that's his problem.
I feel like even like on the flip side, like if high school, like even if we take it to like the social status or even further than that, like where you were living situation, etc., like it could be completely different. Because I think on the flip side, like high school could be like, high school is all I got. Like as soon as I leave high school, like I don't know where I'm gonna go, I don't know where I'm gonna live, I don't know this or that. So you could be like completely different in that sense of like you went from the high school security, and then you for past couple of months or years wherever you're at could be like, oh dang, like I really changed.
Yeah, there's like structure too. It's like stability in structure, like knowing you're doing this just because you've been told, and maybe there is some kind of, there's value of, you know, figuring that out for yourself outside of high school, that's growth and what you lean into from there. And
Absolutely.
And that structure for some people, that's where they thrive, and that's why like some people go so hard and work so well in those pressure situations, where others are like, hey, this learning style isn't for me, so I can't thrive as I want to in this scenario.
And I think also, like you said earlier, high school is definitely a place where you're constantly being involved in community. Like it's almost difficult for you, even if you're not involved in clubs or kind of feeling on more of the outcast kind of side of stuff, like you're still constantly around people. Like it's hard for you not to be around, because in classes, lunch, etc., like there's always people around you. And so it's always interesting to see kind of how that may or may not affect the way that you are in high school. Because like if you're in high school and you're constantly around people, like somebody, like you said, be like, oh, I don't really like you, like that could shatter your world.
Seriously.
Like you could be like, oh my gosh, now I need to completely change who I am and go to this direction or that direction. Because I mean, as kids, it's like, okay, these are the people I'm always around, so I want to make sure that either I'm paving my own path, I'm being paved, or like other people are setting the stones out for me. And so it's just like, it's crazy how even being in high school, like we could say, oh my gosh, like I've changed so much, but even in high school, we changed so much. And because of other people's opinions about what we're doing and what we're looking like or what we're venturing towards. Or you could have a completely different high school experience. You'd be like, I was homeschooled, went to private school, I was online. Or you could be like, bro, I didn't even like interact with people. Like I'm so much more social now. Like I feel like everybody's high school experience is so similar yet so different.
Yeah.
Because it's like, there's just like the social norms of like, oh, high school, like this. But then like even deeper than that, people are like, wow, like when somebody said this to me, I was kind of just like, nerd. And then other people are like, oh my gosh, let me internalize this so severely that like it affects your life moving forward.
What's one thing from high school that you've changed for the positive now? From like high school to now, what is one positive change you've seen in yourself?
Dang. So I think high school, if I'm being honest, was definitely, high school I was very, very much introverted. And that was, I think, also circumstantial, just because of being in a hospital and not having the ability, or not necessarily putting myself in the position, because I would be so exhausted or tired, to socialize would just extenuate more or strain more of my energy. But also feeling kind of on the more of the outcast end, just because not always being there at school, you kind of lose out on a lot of things. But I was very introverted, and it was difficult for me to become extroverted in a moment, at least in high school. Outside of high school, like outside of the actual building, I think it was a lot different. But just being in the building itself, I think it's just a different feeling. So I think now something that's changed for the better, like from high school, I've actually started to step into like who I am and be confident and comfortable in that, and not necessarily value worth or things based off of the amount of activities or the things. Because like I feel like in high school, if you're not involved, it's almost like
if you're not doing track and also the spelling bee.
Yeah, or you're not even in a club or like just involved, like asking and in conversations, it's almost like, oh, that person's like.
Yeah.
But then when you exit high school, it's almost like a completely different thing. Like if you're overly involved, then people are just like boundaries, health, mental health. But in high school, it's like if you're over involved, they're like, oh, good job. Like we wonder why when we leave high school we have so much mental issues. It's because it's a complete genuine flip.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
Stimulation is a big thing there. Definitely.
Yeah. Like, isn't that crazy just to think about it though?
Yeah.
Like you're in high school and they're like, Austin, you need to be involved in band. You need to be doing track. Okay. Yeah. You need to be doing this. Band, you have to have a 3.5 GPA, if not higher. Yeah, you have to be involved in all of these honors classes. And if you're really good, you got to be an AP. And it just keeps on like accelerating. And it's because you have to set yourself up for college. And then you get to college and you're like, oh, wait.
And the professor's like, hey, my name's Dave. I'm an alcoholic. My wife left me last week. I'm still here. Yeah. She stinks. And we're going to be learning about social studies.
Yeah, and you're just like, bro, what? And then you have to almost catch up. Like, you have to catch up mentally because your brain is so used to being handed, like being told to do everything and to reach a certain level. And then we leave and then we're like, oh my gosh, I cannot handle all of this because I've been told this is how you do it. Like, it's just crazy the way that our system burns us and then expects us to do well. Yeah. Like, it's just like, here, college is so much like this. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, even coming out of college, like, this is going to prepare you for life. This is this. And then you get out of college, and then you're like, wow, generally nobody cares about my, like, 4.6 GPA in college or high school. Yeah. Like, they just want to, they want me to know that I can do this stuff and do it well.
And the genuine flip of like, ew, you ride a scooter in high school, gross. And then you go around campus anywhere and people have Heelys on and you're like, that dude. Yeah. I want to be that guy.
It's the complete opposite.
Or like, oh man, I'm not going to go on and on about that. But like, bro, just wearing crazy. Like Heelys or like, you see like a guy that wears like a Pokemon shirt and they're like in high school, it's like, what a freaking nerd. Yeah. And then you go to college and you're like, I resonate with that guy.
I want to be with him. Like, I want to hang out. Like, it's so crazy. Oh, college is so different.
But like in those like valuations of yourself, like, does it really matter? Does any of it matter? Like, you think we were deep there? We just hit another level of deep. Like, dang. Does that actually matter that you're valuing yourself based off of someone else? Is that like, is that healthy?
Yeah. Like, because like, I think we talk about it a lot, but we almost, it's like, okay, when you create, you don't want to take other people's, like the interaction of social media to value your art. But at the same time, you need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that are like genuinely shape you and exhort and be like, hey, this is not good, but this is good kind of thing. But in taking that like high school mentality, like what matters? Like what is that focus? Like if people are like, oh, this sucks. Like, are you like, nah, it doesn't? And just being closed-minded because you have to be in that moment? Like it's crazy. But I think it almost pulls into that like that super like deep, like what matters creatively. Like are you as a person doing the things that you're doing so that you can prove the people around you wrong? Or are you doing it because you genuinely want to do it and you think it matters?
Is it spite or is it self-filling?
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, and if you are doing it just to prove other people wrong, my question, this might be a hot take, but like, I'm sorry I'm talking a lot, but it might be like, do you realize maybe that could be the reason why you're so burnt out? It's because you're trying to fulfill a shoe or trying to fulfill something to prove somebody wrong that actually doesn't genuinely fill you up or make you feel good, but you still do it because you're just like, I need to do it to show them. Like,
is that judgment even real? Yeah. Like another level of the onion. Yeah. Is there actually someone judging you for that, or is it you putting boundaries on yourself?
Ooh, that's good, bro.
are you proving to someone or are you proving to someone to yourself?
And I think it just plays back to that, like going in school, like, you're always taught like you have to get a good grade to succeed. Like I remember my dad would be like, so you have to get degrees, but then you enter in high school and like the teacher is like, you gotta see, like there's almost that cultural thing in school, like if you don't do well, then you're not doing enough. And so then I think it translates into outside of high school, and it's almost like one of those things, it's like our neuroplasticity in our brain is naturally inclined to do those things, because like, oh, nobody's actually telling me you're not doing enough, like this isn't good enough, like prove me wrong. But I subconsciously am telling myself that, so you're almost trying to prove yourself even though you're placing it onto other people. Like it's just,
can I just point out real quick, you just used an SAT word, neuroplasticity, as we're talking about high school,
bro.
So I mean, you get a 1200 right there, easy,
bro. Shout out to my 10th grade English teacher,
neuroplasticity,
Mr. Torin. Bro, I love that man. First teacher experience that like was a genuine human being
that shaped you.
Yeah, straight up, bro. And I don't know if it's just because he was like the first teacher that ever cursed in class or what, but just like so genuine, like walking the hallways and he'd stick up his ring finger and like wave it. He'd be like, symbolism. And, like just like such a cool dude. But he taught me that. So
it's one of those things too, though. It's like you think you have to dress super well. Or like you have to have this kind of style in high school, right? And you're like, oh, but mom, I need the American Eagle jeans, as I wear American Eagle jeans right now. But I need American Eagle jeans or else I won't fit in. Billy always crosses me in the hallway and like looks down on me because I don't have American Eagle jeans. And it's like,
I'm gonna beat you up, Billy.
Is it Billy that's saying that? Because if we asked Billy, I bet Billy would be like, I don't care what Susie wears. Like, back off. Like you hear all the time of people like
algebra. Like
you think that people like actually care or like see and like care what you look like, and then if they're asked, it's like, I don't even know who you are. Like you are hypercritical on yourself. And that brings, and that, you know, in some ways that's helpful. It's like, hey, in my photography career, I'm comparing myself to other people. I want to lift myself up to their standards, but where does it go into a healthy, unhealthy scenario?
Because I think like we compare ourselves to other people and their abilities and their like photography skills, music skills, but like those are the standards that they set for themselves. Like we can't put ourselves in another person's standards. Like that's, if we do that, then we're stretching ourselves to the point where we're just like, oh, like it just becomes too much. Like Austin cannot fulfill what like Eden Juan is doing, because that's Eden Juan. Like that's who her brand is. Like we can take the things that she does and translate it into what I do or what Austin does, etc. But like we can't reach her standards because that's set out for her. Right. Like what you're doing, you may not even discover it yet, but like your standard, like she couldn't step into what you're doing and be like, oh, I'm Austin. Because like you're Austin. And so it's like, if you're creative, even in high school, like we're like, oh, I want to reach like the cool kid status. Well, maybe your definition of a cool kid, like maybe somebody around you is like, I thought you were the cool kid. Right. Like
we all have different lanes, and it's like, who cares if I want to be the best Gavin? I want to be my best self. And that's who I should be comparing myself to. And it's like a vertical comparison rather than like horizontal, or, you know, I don't want to be the best Brian out there or best Jake out there.
Jake from the State Farm.
You know, I want to be like,
love you, Jake.
Best version of Brian might even be lower than the best version of Jake. And, you know, I'm not going to be, I'm going to fall short of each of those because I'm not Brian and I'm not Jake. I'm Austin. And, you know, I'm either, it's not a horizontal thing. It needs to be a vertical thing. I'm competing against the best version of myself. And while you're kind of blind to that, you know, I might be comparing myself to Jake's level 4 out of 10 rather than my 10 out of 10 that I can reach kind of deal.
It's almost like you're putting yourself in a box. You're capping your own level by comparing yourself.
You think you can only reach their best point, and you think their best point is right now.
Yeah.
What, like, if I compare me to you right now, I'm like, oh, Gavin's at the 6 and I'm at the 4 right now. How can I achieve Gavin level 6? And it's just like, no, dude, focus on you and you'll be at Austin level 8, and he's actually going to be at Gavin level 8 by the end of both time frames.
Yeah. Like, we can't walk in arrogance or ignorance to the fact that, like, our things that we are working towards and we are striving towards is set out for us. So, like you said, like, we can't be like, oh, like, I'm Gavin level, like, 9.5 or Gavin level 3 or Gavin level 4, and they're, like, Gavin level 2. Like, no, like, their levels, like, we can't define ourselves based off of our own levels. Because, like, other people are going to be like, I thought I was doing really well, but you're telling me I'm not. Like, I think that even comes up in conversation. I feel like when we're talking with somebody or we sit down with a group of creatives or businesses, there's almost just like, oh, it comes off like you're almost cocky in a way. Like, I am Gavin level 9 and I see you only as Gavin level 2. Like, that's not how that works. Like, I think that's where the void of respect kind of comes. Like, you got to respect somebody.
Humble yourself before other people. If anything, if you're like arrogant and you're like, I'm a hot shot right now, at least around people, be like, oh no, it's okay.
Yeah, like,
and not trying
to
like,
cap you off. Yeah, but like, just be like, you can't compare yourself to other, like, your levels to other people's levels. I
think like another like phrase for this is kind of like, you know, we all have different seasons. What I may achieve right now is maybe something that you'll achieve 5 years from now. And that's okay. Because maybe I learned from someone that you're not aware of. And maybe that person will come into your life 5 years from now and teach you those things.
Exactly.
And it's like those outside variables that we can't control that often influence where we are in our goals and whatnot too.
Exactly.
It's sometimes not always you, it's the context of you and all of environment that bring that. I'm level 6 now because of X, Y, and Z. And you are level 6 now because of CDB, whatever. I don't know what I just said, but
that was straight sick.
We're assigning level.
That was creative algebra right there.
Dude, tell me about it. We're assigning random numbers and letters to each other. Here we are. Welcome to the Silo Podcast.
But like, so talking about aspirations and dreams as a creative and their levels, like, where does that play in a fact of like, okay, this is what I'm trying to achieve? Because I feel like that almost starts introducing the imposter syndrome. Like, if we compare ourselves to other people's levels, then we begin to believe that like the things that we are doing, like, isn't either really us. Like, we're just doing this. Like, I feel like it really opens up this completely, like, mental realm of despair. Because we're just like, oh, shoot. Like, past 5 years I've been comparing myself to an Austin level. But, like, I've never truly discovered what my level is.
This episode is sponsored by Refillism.
Refill a bottle you bring or fill a new bottle with eco-friendly household beauty products. Shop for unique, earth-loving, reusable, and zero-waste everyday essentials. Refillism is located at 38 South Beaver Street, York, PA, 17401. The shop with a beautiful large deer and animal mural just down the street from Central Market. Refillism has 2 free parking spaces at the rear of the shop, which is like right behind us, like right behind there. And this is a 30-minute parking for Refillism customers only. So you enter through the gates on the side there, and there's like 2 spots, and she'll give you the code to exit, so you don't have to like worry about paying or anything like that.
Oh, hi.
Because you have annoyed me this entire time, I'm gonna battle you.
Okay. Wow, look how sturdy these things are. So yeah, go check out refillism.com to find all of your reusable, recyclable needs. We're in the store right now. We've been here for the grand opening, and Elizabeth has been unreal and so welcoming to us. We just want to give back to her by filming these podcasts here. We've been doing all these kinds of events, and we'd love to see you here on South Beaver Street. So yeah, show up.
How can you discover your creative aspirations and then try to avoid the imposter syndrome that comes in when you're succeeding? Because like if we're succeeding, we're getting like Austin 9, you must begin to doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
So like how would you suggest?
I feel like we talked about this before, maybe even in the last podcast episode. It's just like I feel like fame or experience is a little bit more exponential than not. There's some linear stuff, but there's some exponential growth that happens.
Tying that into, I think, like as we're outside, we're trying to aspire to create. Like we are discovering our creative aspirations. We're discovering those things. And then I feel like imposter syndrome also starts to bring into play because of high school and because of those experiences that we had. Like, how do we move forward in that aspect? Like, and how do we try to achieve that?
It's so tough because once you're at that point where you're like, okay, things are actually like going okay for me, right? Like, oh man, I got my first few clients to commission some artwork from me. You're like, am I worthy of these people? Like, I think too, like, does like their status like affect me? Yeah. Like, oh man, this is like, this is a business owner. Yeah. Like, they're asking me to do what? Like paint a mural in their spot? Like, like who am I to do such a thing for such a person? And you like think in comparison, but you're like, but I think you have to realize too, it's like, yo, they obviously see value, hopefully in your portfolio or like some past work, right? And they made a value judgment of, this person is worth paying what I deem necessary to have this have this work done or have this art displayed. And I think you have to like talk that through with yourself. And it's not as easy as just saying, oh, this person's really cool. Like I deserve to do this for them. Exactly. It's like, it's crazy. It really is. It's something that you wrestle with, and it's really not an easy concept. No. To just accept that these people want what you have. Yeah. I don't know.
It's crazy. And I feel like, have you felt it like lately with silo stuff? Because like we just hit 2,000.
Yeah. I think it's just in general, it's like
a giveaway.
It's like, excuse me, who am I that we're like here trying to build something, and we never expected it to do anything. No. It was like for the community, and then the community started getting bigger and bigger, and it's just like, who am I, a lowly person that just does stuff for fun, turn this into something that's worthwhile and valuable to people? And coming after like the spring capture, people like, oh my gosh, I met so many cool people that I'm going to keep working. When's the next one? Oh my gosh, that was... You're annoying. No, just kidding. Stop asking. No, I'm totally joking.
He's joking.
I'm saying...
Austin has a sarcasm, a very dry sarcasm.
Stop asking, because we're going to do it. Yeah. I was actually thinking about that today. Like, we should probably put a date in there.
We should. It's almost summer.
But have you experienced it? Like, what have you experienced it in Silo?
Yeah. I've experienced it because, like, I feel like we've been told a lot of times, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys are doing this. Like, it's crazy that you guys are doing this. And we're right there with them. Because every time we have that conversation, we're just like, wait, you're right. Like, what?
I think so often we undervalue like that stuff like, too. What? Because like it does take like that person to be like, yo, do you understand what's happening? I'm like, no, please tell me what's happening.
We're just riding the wave. Like, it's crazy to think like almost 3 years ago, this idea came up and we started like fully like looking into it, kind of testing the waters, seeing where it will go. And then now we're recording a podcast at Refillism. We're talking about, we just did a giveaway, 2,000 follower giveaway. Like the community like we had 30 things that people gave us.
I don't even know 30 people, and now I know like thousands.
It's crazy. And like we run into people and they know us before we know like their name and their face, because it's so hard. Disclaimers, like we're so involved in community that we're trying to communicate, but it's like still trying to process our Instagram brain from our reality brain. Yeah. And so sometimes if we're like, wait, what's your name again? It's not because we don't actually value, like we don't truly value it. We love you so much that we love everybody so much. Yeah. That it's so hard to keep that all in our brains that sometimes.
And it's not like, it's like sometimes we're not in the mindset of like, oh, we're looking out for people for Silo too. It's like, there's a little bit of detach, a little bit of like work brain versus like normal brain. No. You can turn off Silo for a little bit at a coffee shop, and then someone comes up to you and you're like, I gotta flip on the Silo brain really quick and think like, oh my gosh, I actually love your work. And you don't think that immediately because either you don't recognize them or immediately that person of the incredible 2,000 person encyclopedia contacts list that you can, it's supposed to have.
Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And so it's just like, I think every day I become more and more just like, am I like, what? We're really doing this? Like, and I think us and I were just, it's not us.
It's not us.
It's not us that's making these things happen and moving things around. And like, we are ultimately just like the vessels that are community, like guiding and shepherding this community. At the end of the day, like we would not be doing the things that we're doing if it wasn't for the community and for the people that we want to love and support. And so it's so crazy. Like we're building, like, I think what really, really, really hit me, like the spring capture was huge. That was insane. And even the giveaway was insane. But like when we're like building a website, like that's like out of this world, bro. Like I feel like you have social media, but then you make
like it real website by like publishing something that you have to pay for monthly.
Like that's insane,
it's like an investment,
bro. Like every time we talk about it, like, and Austin's like the creative genius, like making up all these awesome like designs. And I'm just there the entire time just trying to absorb it all, because I can't believe that we're sitting there in that meeting talking about creating a website and designing a website and like putting that out there. Like that's insane to me. Like just being able to sit here and talk about it. Like I'm just like,
let's credit Andrew too.
Yeah.
Andrew Greer is the one that's doing all the work. It's not me building the website. No. It's him all in the back end, stuff that we could never do ourselves. And us weaving the vision into the digital space that we have now rented from the internet.
Yeah, which is even, like, basically we bought a domain. Like what? Like we have internet real estate right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that's
we're not in the metaverse yet, but
no. But even just that, like, and even to when we were recording this podcast, like we were sitting and right before to kind of like just think about the ideas of how we're going to do it, like what the idea is. And Gretchen came up to us and she was like, "Hey guys." And we're just like, "What?" Like it's just so, I don't know. Click. It's insane. It's just insane. Like even those things and just seeing the community, like that imposter syndrome, it's just become like just a reality of just like, wait, like we're actually doing this. And then when we start to get in that stride and we start to do these events and more come out, like we come out of our hibernation and really start to take into that next step and that stride. Like 3 years ago, like flashback to the question that we talked about, like how we changed in high school. Like 3 years ago, like at least I wasn't still in high school, like, or graduated high school.
Yeah.
Like just coming out and being like in college, like first, second year of college. Like that's crazy.
I think too, something that I realized is like our like output, like how much we are conditioned to do things and like execute on things. Because at high school, there's not a time that I would say I could write Instagram posts, be in 3 meetings a day, also be there for coffee with creatives in the morning, then we record a podcast, then make sure we're thinking about the next event all in one day.
Communicating. And then on top of that, like you work a full-time job. You have a girlfriend. Like it's the efficiency of those events. Yeah. And like how my brain has like realized that, or like slowly like said, hey, this is not as big of a like
energy consumption in your brain, and they get smaller and smaller. Not like in the sense of like I'm losing interest, but in like I'm not spending tons of energy, tons of like emotional energy to make this meeting happen. Yeah. Right. So that means I can fit more meetings in because of that.
Exactly.
And I can write 17 posts or whatever because I've taken a struggle of writing one post, and I've practiced and continued to do stuff. Same with you. We've practiced and done these so many times now that it takes from repetition and practice that now a workload of one full day could be an hour and a half of our actual work day. And that means then we can accommodate other things that are new and important to us.
Yeah. And put the actual like boundaries in place as well. Because I feel like we've also, as we're expanding our brains and moving into that creative, that creative realm, like we're beginning to realize like, oh, and I don't even think that's just solely just creating and silo stuff, but I think that's just life in general. Because you grow up and you become older and more mature, you begin to realize that the things that you thought exhausted you, like you've somehow, like after you've done them for so long, you begin to realize, oh, this is why it has. Let me eliminate that factor and move forward. And it's just like, whoa, like we're adults. Like we're doing these things almost subconsciously after a while. Like we put in the work to burn those like things out, to prune those things out, and then at the end of it we're like, whoa, like we did, like today we had like a meeting, a pre-game meeting, then we met with somebody, and then we came here to do the live, and then we did like a podcast recording, and then we're gonna leave here, and then we're gonna talk about all these other things that we're gonna do, and like that would have happened in a week or a month a year ago, and now it's happening 4 hours.
Right. I just that's hard to believe. But it's all from working that muscle, though. Yeah. That's why
you got to work out.
It's true. I don't work out.
I don't work out either.
Sad. But like
dad bods for life.
But that's why, like, when people say that, oh, I just don't like, I'm not even motivated to do this right now, or like maybe I'm burnt out. That's a little bit different. But oh, I don't have the motivation to do this. I say do your chores. Yeah. Do your laundry. You're gonna get motivation. You're gonna get momentum from there. Yeah. And from there, it's gonna blossom into you doing it repeatedly, making it a habit. And from there, it only gets easier. And like I said, the less energy expended on it. Yeah. And that allows you to do more. So it is really a muscle of you gotta do something to get the motivation and the momentum to keep going.
Exactly.
And there obviously, like we preach all the time, like rest. Yeah. But at the same time, if you're just not feeling motivated, like just do something. Go to the store and buy groceries for the week or whatever that you normally do. If you just get up and do that, you'll find that you're like, hey, it's nice out here in the world. Let's keep doing stuff.
What? Say what? Man, that was an episode.
Wow. Yeah, it surely was.
We went really deep. We also fought each other.
Yeah, I put chopsticks in your ear.
I screamed at you through a funnel.
It sounded like a trumpet.
It did. Maybe I'm secretly a trumpet.
You probably are a trumpet. If I'm not
talking about trumpets, though.
Oh?
Are you ready for some awesome music and some awesome community and poetry?
No.
That's disappointing. Well, you're not invited.
I think so.
That's okay. Psych! It's open to everybody, so anybody can come out. May 20th. So this episode's coming out the first Monday of May. First Monday of May. And so in 19 days, we're going to have our first Silo Slam of 2022.
Isn't that crazy? Some fan favorite stuff coming back.
We're back,
better
than ever. It's a different location. It's in Lancaster this time. We wanted to give our Lancaster homies a little bit less of a drive, just like we did York homies last year. This is going to be at Spire Business Community. We love Rhonda. It's going to be from 6 to 8 p.m. Still to kind of figure out. I think it's going to end up inside because they have a really nice like studio space inside with like the lights and stuff. It's going to be gorgeous. But it's open to photographers if you want to take pictures of people and their thing. If you are a musician and you want to just put yourself out there, or just want to talk to other musicians, or if you're a poet and you're like, bro, I just want to drop this like slam poetry and just destroy our world. Or if you just want to come out and you just want to be like, I want to be in community, and this could be your first time experiencing a silo event. And we try to typically say like, come to one of these because it just is a big family.
It's big family. It's free. Just come out and enjoy
6 to 8 p.m.
community. You know, after 7, it's an open mic.
Yeah.
So even if you don't get in touch with us, you know, and you're still like iffy if you can make that date, and you can maybe like week of kind of deal. Hey, open mic. We'll see you there. You can, you know, spit bars. You can, you'd be a part of any kind of music act.
We have music. Like we have like instruments on the side if you want to just pick one up.
So there's literally no reason for you not to come.
Yeah.
So we'll see you there.
Unless like you're allergic to a ginger and a guy with a baseball cap. I mean, if that's your thing, then
or mustaches.
Yeah, that would stink.
That would stink. You should probably get that checked out.
Yeah.
All right, see you guys.
We love y'all.
We love you. Take it easy, and we can't wait to see you on the next episode of the Silo Podcast. Cue the music.